Rafael Nadal, the unbreakable warrior of the courts, collapses in agony during a midnight practice session, his screams echoing off the empty stadium walls. Blood seeps through his tape-wrapped knee, but instead of calling for help, he forces himself up, whispering to his trainer, "No one knows. Not yet." This wasn't a dream, it's the hidden nightmare that nearly shattered tennis history, a secret so explosive his own team has fought tooth and nail to bury it forever. What if I told you the King of Clay carried a ticking time bomb in his body for years, one that could have rewritten every Grand Slam victory? What happened next will leave you breathless. Hold on tight, because we're diving deep into the shadows of Nadal's empire. But first, if you're hooked on these untold tennis scandals, smash that like button right now and subscribe to Tennis Insider for more exclusive bombshells that the mainstream won't touch. Your support keeps the truth flowing, let's uncover it together. Rafael Nadal's journey to legend status began on the sun-baked clay of Mallorca, where a young boy with a forehand like thunder first gripped a racket. But beneath the triumphs lurked a fragility no one saw coming. It started subtly, a twinge in his left knee during a routine junior match, dismissed as growing pains by coaches too eager to mold a prodigy. Fast forward to 2005, his explosive French Open debut, where the world marveled at his bulldog tenacity. Yet, in the quiet hotel rooms after matches, Nadal popped painkillers like candy, his face contorted in private torment. His uncle Tony, the iron-fisted mentor, barked orders to push through, insisting weakness was the real enemy. Teammates whispered about the endless ice baths and cortisone shots, but loyalty sealed their lips. By 2008, as Nadal claimed his first Wimbledon, scans revealed micro-tears in his patellar tendon, a silent saboteur gnawing at his foundation. He won that grass-court epic against Federer in a grueling 5-setter, but off-camera, he limped to the physio tent, tears mixing with sweat. The public saw a god, insiders knew the truth, a body screaming for mercy while his will forged ahead. This wasn't just pain, it was a calculated gamble, every serve a defiance against collapse. Nadal's camp spun narratives of minor strains, feeding the media bite-sized excuses to protect their golden goose. But the fractures deepened, layer by layer, as he racked up slams, each trophy a monument built on borrowed time. Friends in the locker room noticed the hollow eyes, the forced smiles, but the code of silence held firm. What drove him to this edge? A fire born from childhood dreams, fueled by the roar of crowds oblivious to the war inside. And as the years ticked by, that war escalated, setting the stage for the ultimate deception. The turning point hit like a rogue serve in 2012, when Nadal vanished from the tour without warning, citing flu-like symptoms that reeked of cover-up. Whispers rippled through Monte Carlo, it was the knee again, worse than ever, inflamed to the point of immobility. His team jetted him to a discreet clinic in Barcelona, where specialists delivered the grim verdict, a chronic psoas injury intertwined with hip deterioration, the kind that ends careers in whispers. Surgery loomed, but Nadal refused, opting for experimental stem cell infusions smuggled under the radar. Back on court, he dazzled at the Olympics, gold around his neck masking the braces hidden beneath his sleeves. Yet, the secret festered. During the 2014 Australian Open quarterfinals, a slip on the hard court sent shockwaves through his core. He retired mid-match, blaming a back issue, but insiders leaked tales of internal bleeding narrowly averted. His physiotherapist, a shadow figure in the entourage, became the gatekeeper, rationing training sessions to mere hours while fabricating logs of full-intensity drills. Teammates like Carlos Moya watched in silent horror as Nadal's gait stiffened, his explosive slides turning labored shuffles. The 2016 Rio Olympics brought another veil, foot blisters announced to the press, but the real culprit was a stress fracture in his scaphoid, taped so tightly it numbed his wrist entirely. He powered through to silver, but post-match MRIs showed bones grinding like fault lines ready to quake. Why the charade? Fear of vulnerability in a sport that devours the wounded. Nadal's inner circle, bound by blood and ambition, crafted alibis with surgical precision, vague statements, doctored timelines, even planted stories of miraculous recoveries. The world bought it, chanting his name louder, blind to the man teetering on the brink. This web of deceit wove tighter, pulling in doctors sworn to secrecy and rivals left guessing. But cracks began to show, subtle at first, a hesitant lunge here, a winced serve there. Until the facade threatened to crumble under the weight of unspoken agony. Deep into the 2020s, as Nadal's legacy solidified with a record-tying 22 slams, the hidden injury morphed into a monster his team could no longer cage. The 2021 Australian Open semi-final against Tsitsipas wasn't just a comeback, it was a survival act. Hours before, in the locker room shadows, Nadal injected himself with anti-inflammatories, his hands shaking from the cocktail's potency. The crowd erupted for his 5-set heroics, unaware that each point etched deeper scars on his Müller-Weiss syndrome-ravaged foot. Post-match, he hobbled to a private jet, bound for Munich's elite orthopedics ward, where surgeons debated amputation as a last resort. Yet, he returned for Roland Garros weeks later, clay under his nails, victory in his veins, but at what cost? His team's denial machine kicked into overdrive. Rafa's fine, just managing wear and tear, they parroted to reporters, while funneling him prototype insoles laced with experimental gels. The 2022 Wimbledon run exposed the lie further. That quarter-final exit to Kyrgios masked a rib fracture from an innocuous warm-up swing, concealed by layers of strapping and a pharmacopoeia of gels. Whispers from the tour grapevine reached fever pitch. Had Nadal's camp colluded with tournament officials to fudge medical timeouts? The truth simmered beneath, a litany of undisclosed tears, from abdominal strains to Mueller's relentless advance, each battle won through sheer, superhuman grit. By 2023, as he bowed out of the French Open, the cumulative toll was evident in his gaunt frame, the fire in his eyes dimmed by exhaustion. Still, the denials flowed, it's all part of the plan, his agent insisted, shielding the public from the raw calculus of risk versus reward. Nadal himself, in rare candid moments, alluded to the shadows, but his loyalty to the machine silenced deeper confessions. This era of veiled warfare defined him, not as invincible, but as profoundly human, a titan wrestling demons in the arena of his own making. The story didn't end with retirement, it echoed in every highlight reel, a testament to endurance laced with enigma. In the aftermath of his 2024 farewell at the Davis Cup, the veil finally thinned, but Nadal's team clung to the script with ferocious denial. Leaked medical files, surfaced by a rogue insider, painted a harrowing portrait. A cascade of untreated microfractures, nerve entrapments, and inflammatory storms that dated back decades, all downplayed to sustain the myth of the eternal fighter. The shocking core. A spinal misalignment, exacerbated by his signature spin serves, that his entourage classified as manageable fatigue, fearing it would tarnish his aura. Even in retirement, as Nadal transitioned to coaching whispers and academy expansions, the silence persists, official bios scrubbed of severity, interviews steered toward triumphs. Why won't they admit it? Pride, perhaps, or the terror of unraveling a narrative that inspired millions. But the real tragedy lies in the what-ifs. How many slams slipped away in unseen suffering? How many nights did he stare at the ceiling, bargaining with his body for one more dawn? This hidden odyssey redefines Nadal, not as a flawless icon, but as a mortal forged in fire, his scars the true badges of honor. For Tennis Insider viewers, this revelation isn't gossip. It's the unvarnished soul of sport, where glory and gore entwine. If this tale gripped you, drop a comment below. What's the biggest Nadal secret you suspect? Like, share, and subscribe.